Hurricane Ian shakes Florida's faith but cannot destroy it. This recent uplifting report from the Associated Press details the way the churches and parishioners have survived and tried to even thrive during the horrible destruction of Hurricane Ian. In fact, there's a quote by a pastor from Fort Myers that I want to read to you. And again, this is not my view, this is his view. Someone who is at his church level, someone who has had their family members and their friends leveled, who has so much destruction. He said about Hurricane Ian, again, these are his words, a blessing in disguise. That almost sounds ridiculous. How can you say all the destruction, all the rampage, all the problems can be a blessing in disguise? This pastor said that when your home's washed away, when your money's washed away, when everything you're used to is washed away, all you've got is Jesus. All you've got is that blessing of being in a church family, and that has brought his church closer together because you don't have to worry about this or that or anything else but Jesus and his word. That even in a horrible calamity, even in a difficulty, we could look at that in faith and say, this could be a blessing in disguise. God, give us that kind of faith too. Psalm 127, forgive me. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their enemies at the gate. This Psalm 127 is a psalm of ascents of King Solomon, a psalm that you would read as you went into worship. And I would think if enemies are at your gates, if destruction and calamity is there, you'd have a hard time praising the Lord. And yet, like that pastor who's lost everything in Hurricane Ian, but still has Jesus, like you and your difficulties and your struggles, like me, in our own afflictions. We may have enemies at the gates, we have enemies in our heads and in our hearts, but we will not be put to shame. Our Lord is still there. He is still building and uplifting and rebuilding and preserving his people. No matter what earthly thing crumbles, and earthly things do crumble, sadly, the Lord builds us up and rebuilds us up. He is always there for us. That faith, that assurance can never be taken from us, no matter what the calamities of life try to steal. God is always still yours, and you are his. A blessing in disguise.